in the United States. 17% held master's degrees, and 4% held doctorates. And by 2021, 3 of the top 5 richest Black people on earth were Nigerian. This is a culture that has, in my mother's lifetime, faced so much: civil war, ethnic cleansing, and one of the world's worst famines, and found hope with so little. That's because we see ourselves as overcomers, people who have not folded but grown stronger under the weight of our country's painful history. Somehow that history, as raw and as complicated as it may be, has only strengthened our resolve to fight for our children. It is that resolve that generations of men, women, and children have drawn from. As you will see, my mother is a giant among them. This is our story. Chapter 1. I can't remember most of what happened that Sunday in September. I couldn't tell you what the gospel reading was at Mass that morning, or whether Auntie Fatu came over to braid my hair in cornrows, or which culture club song was playing on the beat-up radio in my bedroom. None of that really matters anyway. Everything about that Sunday was so routine, so plain, so unremarkable, until the phone rang. My mother had been waiting for that sound since morning, never straying too far from the living room just in case she missed it. Everything she'd done that day, frying plantains, leafing through the Argos catalogue, ironing my brother's school shirts, was all a plot to fill time. She kept telling us to turn down the television so nothing would drown out the sound. She was anxious, fidgety, we all were. When the phone rang at 6:30 p.m., she finally gave herself permission to exhale. Arinze. It was supposed to be my dad. He was supposed to explain why he still wasn't home, to apologize for the 8 hours of worry he'd put her through. But the voice on the other end of the line wasn't his. This voice was nervous. It hesitated and stuttered. It took a deep breath and mumbled 2 sentences that brought one chapter of our lives to a swift and sudden end and started an entirely new book. Your husband and your son have been involved in a car crash. One of them is dead, and we don't know which one. It's human nature to fear the worst when we don't hear from a loved one for several hours. But usually, the worst doesn't happen. Usually, everyone ends up all right. This was not one of those times. My father and 11-year-old brother were 4,000 miles away on a father-son road trip, long-awaited quality time together after a busy summer. My brother gazing out the car window, wide-eyed and inquisitive, my father pointing and explaining. The sprawling textile markets, the street hawkers selling okpa, the overcrowded yellow buses with conductors riding on the outside, all distant flashes of rich culture, a universe away from the corner shops, brew pubs, and lollipop men that littered our neighbourhood in South London. Somewhere along that 6-hour stretch of bumpy highway between my father's home state of Enugu and the buzzing West African metropolis of Lagos, the man driving my father and brother swerved into the opposite lane to cut traffic. As their car veered round a bend, it was crushed by a speeding tractor-trailer. Everyone in the car was killed instantly, apart from one person in the back seat, where my father and brother were sitting. Our relatives in Nigeria were initially told both of them had died. Then, hours later, that one had survived. Then again, that both were killed. They were still in the middle of arguing, trying to work out the facts, when someone made that dreaded call to my mother. I was 5, my eldest brother was 14, and my mother was 4 months pregnant at the time. She hung up the phone in stunned silence, every expression shrouded in disbelief, every movement weighed down by numbness. She prayed there'd been a mistake, prayed that perhaps in the whirlwind of sirens and stretchers, that names and identities were mixed up, that somehow her husband and son had been spared. She thought maybe if she fell asleep, she'd wake up to